everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. Before I bring in my special guest for this evening, don't forget to check out our social media stuff, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at ASC Pods. You can find our entire collection of stuff on B Plus Player Radio. Check them out on Twitter, at B Plus Radio. Also, check out their sponsors over at Audible. You can get a 30-day free trial. They have all kind of cool books you can listen to. Go to audibletrial.com/B+players. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at Too Sweet Magazine. Find them on Twitter at 2TOO Sweet Mag. All right, my special guest for this evening. He's had a very eventful last 6 months, you could say. The public enemy number one himself. He's bringing the boot party with him, Mr. TJ Marconi. TJ, how are you this evening?
Doing well, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I figured we'd kind of start where you had just had some health issues. I think you said it was back in November.
Yep. So I think even before that, for about over a year, I'd just been feeling off. But I thought it was just normal wear and tear with wrestling because, you know, wrestling hurts your body every night. And I figured it was just normal wear and tear, and the miles were catching up to me. But November, came home one day and couldn't breathe. Didn't know why. It was just a normal day. I couldn't breathe. Went to the hospital. Was there. First night, they had no idea why I wasn't breathing. Had me on oxygen and every imaginable cable tube in the world. Finally, they did the ultrasound on me to try to figure out maybe it was a heart issue, a lung issue, and they found blood clots in my lungs. They gave me the blood thinner to get rid of the blood clot. Another 2 or 3 days in the hospital, hooked up to every heart machine there is, and I'm here today, but, you know, could have been a lot worse.
I've had those heart monitors on when I've had surgery in the hospital. They are not fun.
No, and especially when you got to sleep, when you had to have it on 24/7, sleep with it. Not it's put, and then every other tube and IV and oxygen tank hooked up. It was definitely don't wish that on people.
No, man. So, did they say that they got rid of them all, or?
Yeah. You know, they made me take the heart monitor home for a week. So they discharged me and kept me hooked up to it because it would give them the report they needed of how I was sleeping, and then the condition of my heart when I was sleeping, and they okayed me to not they didn't say I was 100%, but they okayed me. I didn't have to be hooked up to this machine any longer. Got a stress test and I passed it. Did the sleep study, and it's inconclusive, so I still got to do that again. Another one of those.
Oh, they're awful.
Oh, they're definitely awful, and the glue on your hair doesn't help either. That they hook up every damn monitor all over your body while you're trying to sleep on a very small bed, especially me.
I was going to say, because you're a bigger guy.
Yeah, but I'm stubborn, and my main doctor told me that wrestling wasn't in the cards. But I always knew I was going to beat it and somewhat come back. I have my sports doctor, and he gave me the green light to start going back to the gym in May. But I started about 6 weeks ago, so I'm trying to get the jump on. I don't want to be out for too much longer.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I don't know what's worse, those sleep studies or the stress tests where they make your heart go faster.
The sleep study was by far the worst. The stress test, I mean, it just hurt my pride that, like, I couldn't run like I used to.
Yeah, it made me feel out of shape.
Yeah, and I'm still not 100% yet. Like, I'm still not there yet, but at the time, they immediately made me get the stress test, and I was just like, damn, what? Am I that bad right now? Like, was this catching up to me and just me ignoring it for so long? And yeah, that was probably the worst.
Yeah, especially for me, when I had it, they put the thing on the incline, and they're all like, you're trying to make it go faster. I'm like, Jesus, are you trying to, like, kill me?
Yeah. They're trying, they're basically trying to. Yeah. It felt like. But no, and the sleep study is not a fun night at all.
You said so you have to do it again?
Yeah, because it was inconclusive. They don't know if they want to give me the machine or not. So,
The thing, the CPAP.
CPAP, yeah. So, they said that it was inconclusive. They want me to see how I am after I'm healthier, which is why they're waiting until May, when I'm technically cleared by my sports doctor. So they want to do it again in May.
Okay, I got you. Now, as far as wrestling goes, what were your first memories of wrestling growing up?
I don't know. It's always been there. It's always been a part of my childhood and everything. But for some reason, the first match I recall doesn't make sense because I'm not that old. But it was the Twin Towers versus Demolition for some reason.
Okay.
Like a tag team match had to be one of the Saturday morning after the cartoons.
Yeah.
But me looking up the time frame, it just doesn't make sense. I guess maybe it was in syndication or something. But that's one of my first memories was that match. And I know it's a little weird, a guy in an African, a white man trying to be a black man, and a police officer versus two guys dressed in S&M.
That's what I go. Demolition was like my favorite tag team growing up as a kid, and then when I went back and watched it years later, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're like freaking S&M guys.
It's hard to. It's weird when you explain it to someone who doesn't know what wrestling is. Like, yeah, these two guys in leather and spikes and kind of dominatrix masks, but yeah, it's normal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But who were some of your favorites?
That's my first memory. My favorites, I was the typical, I guess, Mark. Hogan was my guy, then Warrior was my guy. I kind of skipped over Bret Hart. I never got into him. I went right to Shawn Michaels, kind of. Even though, they tell you who to like when you're a child. Whoever the top guy is usually who the children are rooting for. And I went from Hogan to Warrior, and then I kind of skipped over Bret, went right to Shawn. But
I was exactly the same way.
The guy who made me want to be a wrestler was Diesel, so Diesel was my guy.
I always liked him because he had what I called like the cool factor.
Yep. In the moment, like I've been asked before, like when did you decide you want to be a wrestler? I said it was WrestleMania 11 because Diesel comes out with the title, he's got two, hot blonde girls, and I'm like, damn, there's nothing better than this guy right now.
Yeah.
The giant man, two hot chicks, world champion. I'm like,
what more could you want?
Right, exactly.
All right, so was that when you decided you wanted to try and give wrestling a go, or was it later on?
No, that was it. WrestleMania 11, I turned to my grandma. I'm like, I want to do that when I grow up. And she's like, all right, no problem. You can figure out a way when you get there. Just finish high school and go to college. And, I did that and figured out a way how to get there after college. So
it's funny. I have to find it in my house. I did the same thing in my 8th grade yearbook. They always asked you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it literally is, I want to be a pro wrestler.
Pro wrestler. Yeah, that was always the answer, pro wrestler.
And my mom's like, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I would tell kids nowadays always have a backup plan, but yeah, it was pro wrestler. That was it, pro wrestler or bust.
So, tell me about your training experience. What was it like for you?
People laugh at this, but usually you have to, like, when you join a school, you got to pay like a down payment or a tuition fee, everything like that. I kind of snuck in through the back door. I grew up. My best friend growing up was Sean Maluda, 205. He's been on the Cruiserweight Classic, and he wanted to get me first with his uncle Alpha the Wild Simone and trained there. And I was a broke kid from Staten Island, so I didn't have the initial tuition fee because when you join wrestling schools, it's a few $1,000s to start back in the day. And when it was very exclusive back then, how to be trained to be a wrestler. They kind of weeded out a lot of people that way. But there was another school in New Jersey with the former Jersey All-Pro wrestling trainer, Magic. He was running classes in a school called BWO out in New Jersey, North Jersey. And I was told, just go there and tell them that you're a wrestler already, and they're going to charge you just a ring fee, $10 a day. I said, I can afford that. But my first day of training, I had to, pretend I knew what the fuck I was doing. But fortunately for me, I mean, I would turn to them and be like, what the fuck is a back bump? What the fuck's a front bump? And, I did well enough to, I guess, trick them that I was semi-trained before. But, I kind of got in the back door.
I just think that's funny that you would, as large as you are, you would say you would sneak in the back door.
Yeah, because
you're not sneaking in anywhere.
Sean was the one that took me because when I couldn't afford to initially train with his uncle, he's like, all right, I got another idea, and we did that. And I mean, the first day of training, I blended in well enough with their own BWO students, and they thought I was trained before. So I've never paid like a tuition or a school fee, or I've always paid the ring fee, and that's how I got my training through Magic at BWO.
That's awesome. Now, how do you think they helped you become the performer you are now?
Magic was a great trainer, and he told me very early on. He goes, the way you're gonna become who you are in this business is going out there and learning from as many people as possible. And he was always chill at that. Like some places they tell you not to go elsewhere, but I was told to go out there and learn in the ring and learn from as many people, many veterans in the business, and that's what I did. But honestly, I'm thinking that I really haven't come into my own yet until like the past maybe couple years. So, I mean, it's been a long journey. I learned a lot from Magic. I learned a lot from I actually went to Samu school for a little bit. I learned a lot from just being on the road and just learned a lot from growing up, and being in the business and seeing where I wanted to go with my character and my performances. So,
I agree with you with the wanting to kind of learn from different people. I think it's short-sighted for other schools to tell people just to stay in one place. You know what I mean?
Correct. Because I mean, I'm coming up on just past 9 years, and I get advice and training advice from like guys like Homicide and Dan Moff and Steve Mack, and I'm still learning, to this day. And I think that, some places tell you, oh, don't go out there, don't go to different schools, but that's how I think I got my feet off the ground and got out of just working in one place and just being stagnant. I got out there and learned from as many people as possible. Absolutely.
Now, it's probably been within the last year you've been doing I call them the little movie vignettes for the Public Enemy #1 thing. I think they're really cool because it's almost like a small little movie in each one. How did you come up with that idea?
I mean, I just looked at this was about maybe 2 years back or a little bit longer, and I just wrestling is changing, and I wanted to have fun again. I wasn't having fun, and I said, besides being a wrestler now, I always wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and a big actor. So I said, let me combine the two, and with my new character, the way I'm going to introduce it from what I was to what I am now. I'm going to tell a story over as many promos as possible, because I think that was missing. It was there's so many great wrestlers and ring technicians and high flyers, but the people who can reel you in and talk you into a building in indie wrestling, in my book, is few and far between. And I always thought that was one of my strongest suits, was my promo ability and my capability of talking people into the building. And I said, all right, I'm going to change my character, but I'm going to change it over the course of a couple promos and make myself a little mini movie.
Yeah, I really liked the way you went about it, and I agree with you in the sense of there's so many great workers out there, but there's not people that can pull you in where you're like, and this isn't a knock on anybody, because it's just there's so many guys in the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area. It's like, how many times can you see the same two people wrestle unless they're going to pull you in for whatever reason,
Correct.
Or at least that's,
I feel that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's not a slight on anybody, and I know people might be listening to this and be like, this is definitely not the person that we thought TJ was. I'm very laid back and chill, but when it comes to wrestling, I take it very seriously, and I feel that you can be great in the ring, but it's only can get you so far. You got to be able to hook the people without your body. You got to be able to hook the people with your voice, and I think that's a lost art.
I agree, because eventually you're not going to be able to beat up your body anymore.
Correct.
So, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now, it's been a while, but you and Anthony Gangone and Darius Carter and probably some others I'm forgetting because there was quite a few of you did the Crusade for Change a while back. Do you think that's something you would get back into at some point?
I know there's a lot of people that want it, but I never say never. The Crusade was great. I don't think we've ever gotten our just due or our proper run. We've gotten copied, and the style of stable has been used in pretty much every company, big or small, TV or not TV. So I always take it to, that's like, it's not flattery, it's like pride that, okay, the concept of the Crusade was so good that it was copied by places like Ring of Honor and TNA and even WWE to an extent. And I've always taken pride in that. Meet Darius and Gangone, if we ever do get back together, hopefully, I think it would be done to the extent where it's nationwide and we get our just due and not just, be that secret and beyond, that secret, stable that's
like, hey, did you hear about this?
Yeah. I wanted to be more well known, and who knows? I mean, we were so good at our job that we had people actually behind the closed doors believe that we're really these terrorist bad guys, and they didn't want to work with us. So
hey, then you're doing your job.
Yeah, but the state of wrestling is the state of wrestling.
That's funny. Now you were I was going to say the longest running, but that's not true. The longest SWF heavyweight champion.
I was.
I think it was 400 plus days.
Correct.
That's I'm assuming because I've seen the promos. That's something you're coming back for.
Yeah, I mean, I never lost it, so I mean, it's only warranted that the guy who was in my mind, the temporary champion, give me my title back or a chance to win my title back. But I mean, if I can speak frankly,
say whatever you want.
I took that title and I made it relevant. I made it prestigious. I took it to the Dominican Republic and defended it and made it a world title. And then I never lost it. I went to Tommy Dreamer, whatever. And now it's in the hands of Tommy the Moose. Talk about a nosedive. Yikes.
Yeah, I kind of understand where you're going with that.
Yikes.
Do you think you mentioned going overseas with it? Do you think going overseas is something you would do this year, coming up like the UK or Germany?
I mean, I would hope to. I'm clear to work out in May, but I'm already starting to, take bookings. Hopefully people get to see, my town and not just judge me off my social media, to actually see that I'm drawing people in and gathering interest and making people believe in wrestling again. I hope that that gets noticed and it can lead to more work overseas and more work in general. But I never say never. Hopefully by this time next year I've gone to Europe or I've gone to Mexico or Japan. Who knows? Time could tell.
I was gonna say if they judged you by your social media, they think you're an asshole.
Correct. Everyone believes what they read. I mean, I'm a bad guy. That's what I do, and people need to learn how to separate the bad guy and the real person. And people have judged me before they even met me, which is, good means I'm doing my job, but it's bad when promoters think that I'm really this asshole when I'm just playing. I'm playing the part. I'm trying to make people come in and see me.
it's amazing because it's how do I want to it's that's what people are looking for characters and different things, and then
Correct.
when you give that to them, they're turned off by it.
Correct. I mean, I can't imagine Roddy Piper nowadays.
Oh, he
Like,
never would have made it.
no, he would have been excommunicated. It's ridiculous. You know, Roddy Piper. You know, everyone talks about Hogan and WrestleMania 1 success, but you know, without Roddy Piper making people wanting to see someone get their ass kicked, I don't think it's successful. You know, Roddy Piper's half the reason why WrestleMania was as successful as Hulk Hogan.
Well, I was always told, you know, growing up and stuff, it took two to tango.
Correct. You got someone to boo, you got someone to cheer, and nowadays people just want to cheer for everyone, or everyone kind of likes what everyone's doing and wants to be involved. But the guy who plays the bad guy properly and makes people really believe again, I think that's a lost art, and I think it's useful in this business.
Oh, I agree.
It's a dying art.
Yeah, I also think, and I'm sure you'll attest to this because you probably dealt with it, that if you do go, I say, because with today's generation, you go quote unquote too far, and then everybody gets all upset and offended.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was my whole 2018 almost. So I mean, I definitely know that, but you know, I'm trying to you know move past that, and then people can actually see that you know what I'm doing is a work of art, hopefully, and not just that asshole that really beats up people.
That's never a good thing when they just say it's like T.J. Marconi. Oh, that asshole.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. Even especially in some companies in New Jersey that believe what they read. But whatever, that means I'm doing my job.
Oh God, yeah, dude. I think you and me could write a book on that stuff.
Facts. Correct.
All right. Is there someone you want to work in the ring that you haven't got the chance to yet?
I used to have a bunch of answers, but there's only one now because this guy was a catalyst for a lot of that nonsense last year. Ethan Page.
That'd be interesting.
Because I never met the guy, but he decided to try to ruin my career. So I would like to, work with him.
That would be very interesting, to say the least.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely interesting. But if I have to actually, realistically and actually dream book myself, I mean, there's a lot of guys who are claiming to be, best big man or best in Indies right now, and I can humbly say that there's not many big men that are better than me. So I want to prove that by wrestling these big guys. So
you know who I'd like to see you wrestle again? I never saw the first match. I'm pretty sure it happened in SWF, but I'd like to see you wrestle because I think he's on the come up. Adam Payne.
Oh yeah, no, Payne's great, and that's my Padawan. So I'll definitely wrestle him again. That's my student right there. So it's one of my students. So
oh, is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, so I was helping train at the Ace school when it was open a few years back, and a lot of the wrestlers in New Jersey that were trained at other buildings and other schools were coming in there and working out with me and training under me. But Adam was start to finish, so that's my Padawan right there.
That's awesome because he's really starting to come into his own over at Pro Wrestling Magic.
Yep. I mean, Pro Wrestling Magic didn't even know I was showing up the other day. It was great.
No, that was fun. Because this is a true story. I drove Tremont there.
Yeah.
And I had to leave early because he wanted, which is cool because it's like a 2-hour drive. He wanted to get back home. And after I didn't get home till like 2. After I drop him off, my phone starts blowing up because of what you did.
I mean, that's the goal for the next few months is doing that all over the place. So there's definitely going to be more of that.
Yeah, because I think you've been posted your official return is for BWF, correct?
Yeah, my official first match back will be May 4th at BWF in the Bronx. I don't know who I'm wrestling yet. Hopefully you'll find out after WrestleMania. But yeah, that's my first official match back. But any tri-state area, or who knows, maybe even other places, any show in the tri-state area, I'm just probably going to start showing up and doing what I do best. So if you're at a show, you might see me.
Yeah, you mentioned Mania Week. Good God, I'll be glad when that's over with.
That's why I'm going away.
Are you really? Where are you going?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to the Dominican Republic.
You got the right idea.
I'm not being anywhere near that. Hopefully by next year's WrestleMania, I'm healthy and I'm wrestling in all these convention shows. But given my health being the condition it's in, I'm not even partaking in any of this madness.
I don't blame you. I think I counted 60 shows.
Yeah, don't need the nonsense.
Dude, I would, because I've had all these people, oh, are you coming to this show? I was like, nope. They're like, why aren't you coming? I was like, number one, New York City's bad enough on a regular day, let alone going in, during Mania Week. I said, I'll sit at home on my laptop and watch it on Fight TV.
Correct.
I mean,
I would be remiss to say I'm missing House of Glory's show. That would probably be the only show that I would work or want to be at. It's like another home to me. But I'm not dealing with the nonsense of WrestleMania week this time.
No, I don't blame you. You mentioned House of Glory with Amazing Red, man. Did you see his news?
Yeah, I mean it's sad because I was probably one of the guys I would be a dream opponent if I had to list them. But I hope that it's not permanent. But, if it is, he's done more than enough for this business and is probably the greatest cruiserweight of all time. So
he's done so much and probably, in my opinion, the most underappreciated.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Because I've seen so many guys take his stuff that he's done.
Oh, yeah. He is the architect of the modern cruiserweight for sure. And I have no quarrel saying he's the greatest cruiserweight I've seen in this era.
I always wonder what if he didn't get hurt right before the Cruiserweight Classic, what could have been.
Yeah, I mean, even though he is world known, more of the world would have seen how good he is. So.
Oh yeah, it probably would have made him out there tenfold.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm like you. I hope it's just like he did back in the early 2000s, where he took maybe a year or two off.
Yeah, hopefully it's his little sabbatical, and he's back. But if it's not, then I'm appreciative of all the work he's done.
Absolutely, man. Some of the stuff he did when he was in Impact was just amazing.
Oh yeah, and it's unfortunate that it wasn't as mainstream as it should have been.
Yeah, sadly that's always been their problem. Where they really haven't had a big deal where a mainstream per se audience could see.
Correct.
Which always that kind of sucks. But we'll go here. What can people expect from you for the rest of this year?
I'm probably going to give you guys another 30 of excellent promos and entertaining stories. A very different Marconi for the rest of the year. I'm going to be probably more hated than ever if this goes all according to plan. So, yeah, a lot of buzz and a lot of promos.
That sounds awesome, man. Now, if people want to reach out to you on social media, how would they do that?
At every social media account is TJ Marconi, so Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, TJMARCONI. I'm not really into Snapchat. I'm trying to get into it. But,
Me neither.
Yeah. Those three platforms are the best.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get into the Instagram thing. I'm like way behind on the technology stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Snapchat.
God, my freaking 11-year-old could show me more than I know. Oh, just it'll start flipping all the buttons, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm about to turn 30, but when it comes to that stuff, I'm an old man.
You and me both. But I want to thank you, man, for taking the time to hop on and have a little chat with me.
Of course, man. Anytime. No, hopefully more people know the real. Could be more entertained by me instead of just hating me.
Absolutely. So on that note, we're going to get out of here for tonight. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that stuff. And we'll see you back next time. Have a good night, everybody.